All right. Aloha, everyone who's taken the time out of their busy schedule to log on today. Today is the final of our series for the Career Development Workshop series. And today's topic is entitled Virtual Networking. My name is Ryan Timloy. I'm the Senior Career Advisor. And here is my director, Michael Van Leer. I'll let him introduce himself.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We've really enjoyed the opportunity to quickly adapt and take our workshops into the Zoom platform webinars. And it's a pleasure to have whoever is joining us with us today to learn about the virtual networking information that we put together for you.
All right, so let's get started. This is a little quote that I found online, and I thought it was very applicable to the topic of virtual networking. It's from Zig Ziglar, author, salesman, and speaker, and he said, "You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want." And in short, this is what networking is all about. To be honest, networking is really not about you. It's about the effect you have on others. It's about relationships and how you develop and quantify those relationships. And that is something I want you all to kind of keep in mind as we kind of move forward on this topic of networking, or virtual networking, as we should say it, is that it's really about relationships. So I want you all to kind of take a look at this paradigm here. I want you to see if you can really spot the difference, okay? I'm just going to give you guys a few seconds to take a look at these two diagrams on the left and on the right. Now, if we take a look at the left side, this is how most people would approach any type of new job opportunity or any type of opportunity in general. You'll start off from the internet or classifieds, and then you might attend a career fair or two. If that doesn't work, then you'll probably go through an employment agency. If that doesn't work, then you probably will start to hit up friends and relatives and start to network with others. And then finally, you might get that employee referral. When in actuality, most employers use the opposite. They'll actually flip this paradigm. Most of their employment referrals come through individuals that they've already developed a relationship with. So in other words, in order to become part of the known quantity, networking is really critical. In most cases, when you apply for like a job or some type of opportunity, you send out a resume, a cover letter, it just kind of goes into this big cyber black hole. And sometimes you may hear, sometimes you don't. And networking adds another dimension to that. So when you're looking for work, any type of work, it really is the opposite. It really becomes part of the known quantity, and most employers will get you through referrals through friends, relatives, or coworkers. So kind of keep that in mind as you kind of progress through your academic and professional career. So let's kind of define networking. Okay, networking is basically just, again, it's about relationships. It's a pathway for you and others to achieve personalized goals through mutually beneficial relationships. It's about how you interact with others and how you kind of work together to achieve some type of goal. It's not a quick way for you to access materials or resources. So in other words, it's not something that you kind of use to get around something. You don't use networking to kind of circumvent a process, or if there's barriers, seeing that if you can talk to somebody, sometimes it may work, sometimes it's not. But the purpose of networking is not to try to get around barriers. It's to add another tool to your resources. Virtual networking essentially removes barriers, and through different ways, such as email, Zoom, Skype, or even online career information sessions. Those are all different ways that virtual networking takes place. Now, this is just a little short learning activity. Which example is an accurate reflection of networking? Is it A, obtaining membership in a professional organization? B, creating a Handshake profile? Handshake is our online job portal. Or C, becoming a mentor? What do you think is the correct answer to this learning activity? Take a few seconds, and then I'm going to kind of reveal our answer in the next slide.
Anyone would like to post their answer in there, go for it in the chat.
Yep. Okay. Actually, all three are examples of virtual networking. For example, option A, becoming a member of a professional organization such as Student Nurses Association, the Society of Human Resource Management, or for career services professionals like myself and Mike, the Mountain Pacific Association of Colleges. That's another great way of networking with individuals. When you're with individuals in your industry and profession, you learn about different job opportunities within your industry. Creating a strong handshake profile. It allows you to have an online presence in job searching. If you have a great profile, perhaps like even on LinkedIn, if everything is really defined, your education section is filled out, you have a strong professional picture, that allows you to have a strong online presence. And when you reach that level of accuracy, people will start looking for you. And C, mentoring others allows you to have a positive influence on other people. Again, networking is not just about you, it's about the effects that you have on other people.
Hey, Ryan, mind if I share an example of how that kind of goes full circle?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so just as an example of, Ryan earlier saying that it's not necessarily used, networking isn't used just to go find a job. It's to provide support to others just as much as to find resources for yourself. And a couple years ago, Ryan and I and one of our other colleagues represented on a difficult topic that a lot of career centers face when they're trying to serve a very diverse student body. And of course, that's a reflection of our students at HPU, and we presented at the Mountain Pacific Association of Colleges Employers, AKA MPACE. And after we did that presentation, we started to kind of rise up within the organization as maybe a career center that provides relevant resources to other career centers throughout the Western region. And it was a real nice opportunity for us to contribute to the organization. But in turn, what we found from that was that there were benefits to us as well. We got information from other attendees about what they do in similar situations. And in turn, it really helps all of the students at the universities that are members of MPACE, because we're sharing best practices. And the end result for you personally, if you're looking for, what's in it for me, is that you excel in your job. You're better equipped to do your job because you've networked with these people and gotten the best practices to be able to be better at what you do. And that recognition, you never know where that'll go. I mean, this last year, I was able to get a scholarship to go to the conference. I'm not going to say it was specific to that presentation we did, but it certainly didn't hurt.
Thank you, Mike. As I mentioned earlier, virtual networking is one of the tools that you will use in your career development search. And it kind of supplements and complements the different tools that you will use. Your cover letter, your resume, career fairs, attending a career information session. These are all your career development tools. And virtual networking and networking in general is just a tool that supplements all of these. It kind of connects it all together. So think of networking as just a tool in your tool bag that you'll pull out when needed. Anytime you're going to start you're going to start using networking in your type of job search or promotion, the first thing you want to think about is your purpose. Ask yourself these questions. What am I trying to achieve? Is it a new job? Am I trying to get promoted? Am I trying to start my own business? You really have to have some type of self-understanding of where do you want to go? What is this virtual networking going to achieve? And we're all in different paths in our life. So for example, for me, since I've been with HPU for several years now, promotion or moving up the career ladder, that's what I'm going to use networking for. For some other people, it might be starting your own business or side business.
And that's something that I do, Ryan. I do have a vendor table at the North Shore Country Market, and created a Facebook page to promote not just our table, but the entire market, help to drive interest in folks locally to buy from local farmers and local artists. And it's exciting to be able to have a platform like Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever other platforms people might want to try to use to connect with others and share what you have to offer.
Yeah. Now, virtual networking can come in many different areas, and it's really about your style. You could have like a structured plan where you have a detailed blueprint designed to achieve of a specific purpose. Or if you're very unstructured, you're very flexible, your plans may change. You may have multiple goals and objectives. For example, I'm more of a structured person. If I'm going to do any type of networking, whether it be virtual networking or imperfect or in-person networking, I have a specific plan in mind. I'm going to go to this particular event. I'm going to log on for this particular event to achieve this specific purpose. For some individuals who are more extroverted, like one of our previous coworkers, who now still works at HPU, but in a different department, she had a more freewheeling style. So she could develop conversations, develop relationships with other people really easily. Now, in that type of approach, in some situations, yeah, it may turn fruitful, or in other situations, it may not. It really depends on what type of structure are you kind of looking for. Or if you're more of a structured plan or unstructured plan. And again, it all comes down to your personality and your preferences.
Ryan, do you think it's still important whether you're kind of the extrovert or introvert to at least have a plan as you go into these kind of networking environments, or just kind of go in there and wing it on your own?
I think you should have some type of plan. If you're an extrovert and you're very comfortable with talking with people and you're okay managing multiple conversations and you're okay with this comfortable style of, okay, if it doesn't go anywhere, I'm okay, then that might work for you. If you're somebody who is an introvert and you prefer like a more systematic approach or you prefer more of a slow methodical approach, the structured plan might work for you. So I do think that whether you're an introvert or extrovert, you should have some type of plan when approaching a networking type of seminar or system.
Thank you.
Again, your preference style. Kind of building off of our previous slide, do you have like an informal style or formal style? If you're very informal, you can have like a LinkedIn invite, sending out email inquiries, social media, Facebook and Twitter. Those are examples of informal style. You can you can send out 50 emails to different jobs. It may come back with something, it may not, but there's low cost involved and it doesn't require much energy or resources. But your results will be subjective. Or again, if you prefer a more formal style, like we're having right now, virtual networking sessions, an online career fair. I attended a online virtual career event back in March, and it was for the intelligence community. It was for specific agencies hiring for specific positions within a specific time frame. Again, very specific now. There is very defined goals, and it's a wide audience and topics, but it's also time consuming. I had to log on at a certain time. So since it was taking place at East Coast time, I had to log on at 4 in the morning. Also, there's cost involved. You may have to pay like a certain fee. Whereas submitting an email, joining social media or LinkedIn, that doesn't really cost you too much. So think about this when you're going to employ your networking approach, that there are preferences between formal and informal, cost, low cost, and the type of results that you're going to achieve. Now I have another learning activity for you folks. This is just a very open-ended question. You are free to type in your results, but it's just a question of, I already have a job. How will networking benefit me? Think about that for a few seconds. I like to share how networking benefited me. When I first started at HPU for the first few months, I did not know like how the structure of a higher education institution worked. I did not know the departments, their resources, their roles. So networking allowed me to kind of build relationships in these various departments so I can kind of better understand this complex web of who does what. So then I had a better appreciation in terms of the organizational structure.
For me, Ryan, I found that I may have a job, but I may be lacking in colleagues in that department I work in. And so sometimes being able to utilize professional organizations that you're a part of to reach out to find out if there's anybody looking for opportunities, because I've been in positions where I've tried to hire for additional staff members and haven't found anybody, maybe through a posting internally on the organization's website, and through just some informal searching and letting folks know that we're looking to fill a position. I've been able to do so without having to do an expensive posting with a lot of other organizations to get the word out that we're looking, and just use something like LinkedIn or M-Pace or NACE to be able to fill positions. So it is, networking can help you not just personally and professionally, but also structurally in your organization.
I would also mention that probably, Mike, one of the best ways that you helped us while you were already at HPU is when you brought Kelly on board. You knew Kelly from a previous institution, and you already had that connection. And when we brought her on board during the interview process, we kind of gelled with her really easy. So that kind of cut the red tape in terms from a hiring process as well. So when you have like connections that you've already built with other resources, it can really help you in your present position when that person is, needing work too.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just some follow-up actions that I always kind of recommend if you're going to do networking. If you're going to employ networking in your job search, keep track of networking interactions. You can use Excel. You can use Word. There are different type of mobile apps available. For me, I like to just use Excel. I like to just type in the date, what transpired, the name of the individual, and name of the organization, and some follow-up as needed. Maybe do a self-assessment and determine further action, if any. Maybe if you just had a casual conversation and you kind of feel in your mind it's probably not going to go anywhere, or I've kind of gotten already as much resources as I can get already, you need to make the determination and kind of ask yourself, what are some takeaways? Is this something that I should follow up with? Now, everybody has their own particular goals, but these are some questions that you need to ask yourself if this relationship is going to move forward or not. Again, be a resource to others. HPU, our goal, our values are aloha, pono, kuleana, and we're here to be willing to help others and be a resource to them, and understand the relationships are critical. Look at that saying: trust is like a vase. Once it's broken, though you can fix it, it'll never be the same again. So relationships are very critical, and networking helps you grow those relationships. Develop your own path. Use what's comfortable for you, and there are different ways. This is just a sample blueprint that you can employ in your search, but try to develop your own path. Maybe if you're an underclassman, a freshman or junior, you can attend an information session. You can create a LinkedIn profile. You can inquire via email about internships or club opportunities with different registered student organizations. If you're a senior, a new graduate student, you can refine your LinkedIn profile. You can attend a virtual career event, and you can start expanding your online presence. So these are just some sample ways to develop your own path on creating an effective virtual networking profile.
Ryan, one thing I'd like to add to that, I do think it's really important when you're looking at kind of developing your own path is really, you get what you put into it. And so when we talk about going to information sessions, attending networking events, creating the LinkedIn profile or Handshake profile, you got to give it your best. These are such
Yeah.
important opportunities for you. Jobs happen for as a result of what you put in there. Great jobs can happen for you. And you can also not just be getting great jobs for yourself, but as you mentioned, you can get great colleagues to add to your team. But if you're not putting much into it, and your LinkedIn profile doesn't even have your photo, doesn't even have some of your work experience, why are you doing it? You have to ask yourself that question.
Yeah, good
If
question.
you're
Good
going to
question.
go to a career fair in shorts and slippers and not have resume, why are you doing it? You want to really think about this is an opportunity either for myself or for others, and what you contribute to that and the effort that you put forth is going to yield far better returns if you're serious about it.
Actually, I have a question for you, Mike. Considering that, given our current situation, and I'm kind of seeing this shifting emphasis towards online or remote work or more opportunities via online, do you think now more than ever virtual networking will be critical?
Oh, yes, because in many cases, we're not going to have the opportunity to do the kind of face-to-face engagement that, has traditionally been the way we operate professionally.
Yeah.
And that's why I emphasize, yeah, you think about going into a face-to-face interview, you're going to be clean shaven, you're going to have the best outfit on possible. When you're in a virtual format, you have to think about that presence you create in the platform that you're on. Is it the same persona that you share in an interview, or are you taking a kind of a more relaxed approach? Because the relaxed approach could not yield what you're looking for. So it's really important that you kind of understand, yes, we're moving more into a virtual format, but it doesn't mean it's a relaxed format. It's one that's you've got to give it your best, just as you would in a face-to-face encounter.
That is critical, folks, that moving forward, the effort that you put into any type of in-person format, it really needs to match your online presence. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Now, these are just some closing thoughts for for you folks. Is networking a shortcut to finding employment? Not necessarily. In most cases, new job seekers may still need to follow the process. Networking is simply another resource. However, there are exceptions to the rule. Mike and I both know individuals who work in the higher education industry who can probably get a job without submitting any type of application or resume. They've developed their networking skills to such a high level that they can pretty much apply, hook up with different type of positions without going through the traditional format. However, this is mainly at the executive approach. And again, it doesn't apply to every individual. But in theory, networking is just simply another resource to your tool bag. Is helping another individual achieve their professional networking goals considered networking? Yes. Again, networking is not just about you. The impact that you can have on others is just as important. Remember our core values, aloha pono kuleana. I just attended an online event and walked away with nothing. Did my networking attempts fail? Not necessarily. Networking is more art than science, and it's not a foolproof method. Sometimes things work out, sometimes it may not. What I found with networking is that it may not pay off right now, but it could pay off dividends down the line. If you've developed the right relationships with the right individual, it may pay off 6 months later or even 6 years. And just a last learning activity, I'm an introvert. Networking can help me, true or false? Take a few seconds. Actually, the answer is false. Networking can help anybody. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert or extrovert. It's really about developing your style and preference to any type of networking event. Uh, Friending others on Facebook or Twitter is considered a form of networking. It is considered a form of networking. While it may be social, more social in general, there are opportunities to build professional relationships through Facebook or Twitter. As Mike was saying, he used Facebook to help expand his business. And just a final closing thought, networking is more about farming than it is about hunting. It's about growing things. In farming, you grow food, you grow sustenance. Networking is about growing relationships. It's not about trying to find something specific, and it's not about hunting per se. It's more about growing something. So just kind of keep that in mind when you employ your networking approach. Just want to thank you all, anybody who attended. Here is our email address, cdc@hpu.edu. If you folks have any questions about networking or any about our resources in general, please feel free to reach out to us. Are there any questions or final thoughts?
I'm not seeing anything in the chat box, Ryan.
All right. How about you, Mike? Anything you want to add before we sign off?
No, I just appreciate you putting this together, Ryan. I think it's, you know, in light of the times that we're in, there's never probably a greater level of importance on virtual networking than right now. So thanks for putting this together, and certainly we'll keep this in our own tools of resources that we provide students, because this is being recorded.
All right. Thank you all for your time. Again, any questions, cdc@hpu.edu. Mahalo and enjoy your day.
Thank you, everyone.